Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Akash and you are watching Love It. You click the video seeing the thumbnail, so I guess you know what the video is all about. But one thing I would like to clarify here that uh, this video doesn't cover the topic talaq. This video is all about the forms of Muslim divorce other than talaq. Because talaq is a very extensive and a big topic, I will make another video on talaq, only talaq, that will follow shortly. So if you are here for talaq, please feel free to leave the video because you will not find that. But stay tuned, the extensive video on talaq will follow shortly. So let me structure the video for you first. So this video will be in two parts. The first part will in the first part I will tell you about what I'm going to discuss. I'll give you a broad overview of the different type of Muslim divorce that exist. I'll tell you what are the different kinds of Muslim divorce that exist. On the second part, I will get into detailed discussion about each of the topic. And if you have seen my introduction video, which you definitely should to know what my plans with this channel is and all that stuff, I'll give the link in the description. Uh, this channel is all about valuing your time. So time snaps of all the point that I will discuss in this video is in the description box below. So if you are here for any particular point, if you want to know about any particular point and not the whole video, please feel free to click on that time snap and go straight to that part where I discuss your topic of interest and skip the whole video. But if you are here for the whole topic, then let's begin. Okay, so let's be honest that the topic any personal law is really complicated. Nobody seems to understand the topic in one go. Bear with me for the next 10 minutes or so, and after the end of this video, I think you will not have any more doubts regarding Muslim divorce. I mean, other than talaq, because that I will cover in the next topic. But if you still have, YouTube has given a beautiful comment box. Drop down your question and I will try to answer that to my level best. Okay, so now let's start the video. But before that, let's change the music to something more calming. Yes, that was Sherlock. Okay, so right now, as you can see in the footage, which will be coming up, I think here or maybe here, I don't know, maybe the whole screen. I'll put that in editing. I'm not sure where I'll put it. But anyways, as you can see in the video, a Muslim marriage can be dissoluted by two ways. First, by death of either spouse, and second, by divorce. Now, of course, there is nothing to talk about the dissolution of marriage by death of either of the spouses. To dissolve your marriage in this way, you have to either wait for your spouse to die, or you can kill him or her and not get caught. Yeah, and if you want to get a divorce, then there are four ways. Now, in Muslim divorce, a divorce can be given by a husband, number one. Then it can be given by a wife, number two. Then it can be by mutual consent, which is by far the best method if either of the party doesn't want to come out of the divorce poor, and there is a divorce by court intervention. So in the as you can see in the first topic, that is divorce by husband, there is talaq, ila, and zihar. Now I'll not talk about talaq in this video. Ila and zihar I will. In divorce by Muslim wife, there is no subcategories, but the divorce by Muslim wife is called talaq et tafweez. Number three, divorce by mutual consent, you have khula and mubarat here, and in by divorce by court's intervention, you have lian and fashkl. So that being said, that's been clear. Let's jump into ila. Yeah, so ila it is. Before we go into ila, let's make iddat clear. Do you know iddat? I bet you know. But if you don't, then in short, iddat is a period after the proclamation of divorce in which the wife is not allowed to remarry another man or to have sexual relationship with any other man. Now, this is the shortest and the simplest definition of iddat by far given. It is a very extensive topic and have many subcategories for different kinds of women and for different kinds of divorce or by death. There are a number of topics, but this is the simplest definition. If you want me to make a separate video on iddat only, do drop a comment in the comment box, and I will make it. The definition goes that a husband who is of sound mind and has attained majority swears by God that he will not have any sexual relationship with his wife and then leaves his wife to observe iddat, then he is considered to have made ilah. What does that mean? Suppose the husband says, Allah kasam, आज के बाद मैं तुमको छूंगा तक नहीं, to his wife of course, and then leaves her to observe iddat, which is 4 months in this particular case, then he is considered to have made ilah. Now, abstinence from sexual relationship in this period of iddat is absolutely important. If the couple consummates within the period of 4 months, that is the iddat period, then ilah stands cancelled and the marriage will go on as normal. Yeah, it's complicated. And gaining evidence of such a vow being taken is whole another chapter. Now, thankfully, ilah is not practiced in India. It's obsolete. Okay, now zihar. Now, zihar is basically when you compare your wife with your mother or any other woman within the prohibited degree of relationship, who is within the prohibited degree of relationship with you, like suppose your sister. So if you compare your wife with your mother or any woman who is in the prohibited degree of relationship with you, the wife has the full right to refuse herself to you until you perform a penance. In default of which, that is, in default of performing the penance, she can move to the court and appeal for a judicial divorce. Now, as you can see, zihar does not automatically invalidate the marriage. It is only at the default of performing the penance that the divorce proceedings can be initiated. Now, the wife can move to the court in the first place also, but that can be for a decree which will force the husband to perform the penance and not for divorce. Now, what the penance can be? The penance can be anything from freeing a slave or fasting for 2 months or feeding 60 poor persons, anything like that. If you don't perform the penance, the wife can go to the court and apply for a judicial divorce. But if you perform the penance after you compare your wife with a woman in prohibited degree of relationship with you, if you perform the penance, the marriage is reinstated automatically and the wife doesn't have a say on that after you do that, but you have to do that. The wife will refuse herself to you until you do that. Now, what is interesting about zihar is that such comparisons that you will make between your wife and the woman who is in prohibited degree of relationship with you, that must be to insult her or to insult her or to belittle her. Any comparison made like to show appreciation or to show respect doesn't count as zihar. Suppose you say to your wife that you cook just like my mother. Well, that's a respect, that's appreciation, that's not zihar. So that is a little bit confusing, but yeah, you have to compare in an insulting tone or an insulting manner to constitute zihar. Now, zihar is also an obsolete form of divorce. It's rarely or almost never practiced in today's world. Okay, so now divorce by husband is done, except talaq, of course, that will be done in the next video. But now, divorce by wife. Now, divorce by wife is also called talaq at tafweez. This topic is really very interesting. Listen carefully. So, a Muslim husband can repudiate his wife at his will. This is well known. What is interesting here that he can delegate this power of repudiation to a third party or to the wife herself, and such repudiation of power is called tafweez. I think you haven't understand, right? It's normal. Well, that's very natural. So let's get out of this bookish language and understand what's actually happening here. So the parties to the marriage, either at the time of the marriage or before or after the marriage, can have an agreement among themselves which gives the wife a liberty to divorce herself from the husband under certain specified conditions. Now, these conditions can be like suppose if the husband marries a second wife, or suppose the husband is not able to maintain the wife for a specific period of time, Under such conditions, the wife is at liberty to divorce herself from the husband, provided that such conditions are reasonable and are not against public policy. Naturally, talaq et tafweez should always be a result of an agreement. The agreement is an absolute necessity, and talaq et tafweez cannot be absolute. It has to be conditional. If the delegation of power to the wife is happening here, it cannot be absolute. That you cannot say in the agreement that the wife can divorce herself from the husband anytime. You cannot say that. You have to put some conditions only under which the wife can do so. And when the suit happens in the court, when the wife sues the husband, the burden of proof that such conditions has happened lies on the wife only. Now let me tell you something really interesting. Though the effect is same, still, practically the effect is same, but theoretically, the wife is not divorcing the husband, and unfortunately, under Muslim law, she cannot do so. The wife is divorcing herself from the husband. Alright, you understand that? The husband had the power to divorce the wife, right? He is delegating that power to the wife herself. Now, the wife, on behalf of the husband, can divorce herself from the husband at her will, under such specified conditions. So that is what happening here. That is what happening here. The wife is not divorcing the husband, though, as I have already mentioned, the effect is same, but theoretically it is like that. As I have already mentioned that this cannot be absolute, it has to be conditional, and the presence of an agreement delegating the power of divorce to the wife is an absolute necessity. Okay, now let's move on to the next part, which is divorce by mutual consent. Number 1, khula. Okay, so if I have to give this in one line, though of course it can be a little bit of oversimplification, but still, khula is buying of divorce by wife from the husband. By definition, khula is a divorce which is at the consent and at the instance of the wife, in which she gives or agrees to give a consideration to the husband in lieu of her release from the marital tie. Now, it is unambiguously decided that whatever can be given as dawar can be given as a consideration for khula. So basically, the wife will give a consideration to the husband in lieu of her release from the marital tie, and that kind of divorce will be called a divorce by khula. Now, the necessities is that the offer must come from the wife, and there should be a consideration attached to the acceptance of the husband. As a side note or two, I'd like to add some points. Number 1, suppose a wife agrees to pay amount to the husband as a consideration of divorce and gets the divorce, and later she doesn't pay the consideration. Now what happens then? Does the khula stand cancel? No, khula doesn't stand cancel automatically because the wife is not paying the consideration. Although the husband can go to the court and claim for the consideration to be paid, and then it's up to the court whatever they decide. The marriage will not status to be cancelled, right? And the second point which I want to mention here is that the husband should be measured, should be of sound mind. His consent to the offer given by the wife should be free, and he should have an intention to divorce his wife. Though under Sunni law, being measured and of being sound mind is enough. That is, you don't need to have an intention to divorce your wife, or it is not necessary that your consent was free. If you are measured, if you are of sound mind, it's enough under Sunni law to give khula. But under Shia law, you should be sound, you should be measured, you should have the intention to divorce your wife, and your consent to the offer of the wife should be free. That's clear? I guess so. There's no reason to not be clear. It's very easy. Let's move on to the next topic, which is mubarat. So mubarat is the plain and simple mutual divorce. Easy peasy. When both the parties of the marriage think that it's impossible for them to cohabit together anymore, they can bring an end to their marriage. Like, most of the cases, and the offer can come from either of the side, and the other needs to accept it. There is no need of consideration naturally, and once the other party accepts the proposal of divorce, the divorce stands irrevocable. After that, the wife just needs to maintain the iddat period and no more complications in that. Now, let's go to the different kind of divorce that are made available by the decree of the court. First off is lian. So lian is a beautiful provision under Muslim law which says that if a husband charges his wife with adultery and then the charge comes out to be false, the wife has the right to sue and obtain divorce from the husband. Now she has to file a regular suit for divorce. The court will look over the case, and if it sees it to be fit, it will grant the divorce. Now understand that a lian, that is charging his wife with a charging his wife with false adultery, doesn't automatically invalidate the marriage. It only gives the wife a chance to go to the court and appeal for a divorce. If she chooses not to, the marriage doesn't get cancelled. And this also can only be applied in case of valid marriage. Now, there is something very interesting here. Muslim law gives the husband a chance to retract from his charges, to retract from all the charges he has made against his wife to avoid lian. Now, such a provision is made, of course, to save the marriage, because our social conscience is against breaking up a marriage. Our Indian law or any personal law doesn't want to break a marriage. So there is a chance for the husband to retract all his charges against the wife, and he can avoid lian. So what basically he needs to do? He needs to publicly accept that he has made a charge of adultery against his wife and the charge was false, and he is retracting all his charges against his wife. Such retractions should be bona fide and unconditional. Another interesting point is that such retractions should come before or during the trial. I mean, suppose a husband falsely charges his wife of adultery. The wife applies for lian, gets the lian, and then the conscience of the husband suddenly comes out, emerges, and he comes to the court or comes to the public place, and he comes to the wife and publicly apologizes and retracts all his charge. That is definitely not gonna work. You have to retract your charge before the trial for lian ends. Only that way you can save your marriage. Now, if that is clear, we have fashkl. Now, the word fashkl literally means cancellation, abolition, annulment, recession, or revocation. Right? It basically, it's all synonym. They mean the same. By the way, it is noteworthy that before the dissolution of Muslim Marriage Act of 1939, fashkl was the only way a woman could have approached for divorce. So what happens in fashkl? A woman goes to a qazi and applies for divorce. Now the qazi, after considering all the facts of the case, he will decide whether to grant a divorce or not. Because according to the Quran, it is the basic duty of the husband to take care of his wife, to maintain his wife. And if he is unable in doing that or doesn't do that intentionally, the wife has all the rights to apply for divorce. She cannot divorce the husband like the husband can at his will divorce the wife. She can apply for a divorce to the qazi, and the qazi, after carefully examining all the facts of the particular case, will decide whether to annul the marriage or keep the marriage intact. So that is fashkl for you. So with that, we have come to the end of this video, and that was all that we had to cover in this video, and we're done. Stay tuned for the next video, which will be on talaq, and comment down below if you like the video, or if you have any suggestions, or if you have any questions regarding the topic I discussed, or if you have any suggestions on what topic I should make the next video. And if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing the channel. Please help me grow. It's a new channel, help me grow, and I promise I will always try to give quality content to you guys and deliver what I have promised in the introduction video. please do see that. That will tell you my vision with this channel and why you should subscribe to this channel. And that being said, stay tuned, more videos will be coming, and thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. See ya.